Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Wrestling with Things. We wrestle with all sorts of things in sports and entertainment. And now, here are your hosts, David
Everybody,
and
welcome
Sammy
to
Joseph.
another episode of Wrestling with Things. Do not forget to subscribe to us on YouTube at Wrestling with Things and like our Facebook page at Wrestling with Things to keep up with all our episodes and content and interviews on the sports and entertainment world. Shout out to everybody that's been subscribing, that's been checking us out, even for a minute of your time. We appreciate every single one of you. Keep helping your boys grow. Hit the subscribe button at the bottom right corner of your screen. And Sammy, these NBA playoffs have been suspenseful. They've been fun. And I'm appreciating them a lot more just because we didn't have basketball for a long time. And I was telling you about Miami Heat. I think it was the episode where we had my guy Robbie on there. I was telling you about the Heat, and they're in the Eastern Conference Finals waiting for the Celtics or the Raptors. To me, it doesn't matter who's going to be there. I got the Miami Heat going to the finals. I had them in the Bucks. I was never afraid of the Bucks. Sammy, I gotta ask you, whether it's the Celtics or the Raptors, who do you think is the best player in the Eastern Conference Finals?
I mean, I think it's gonna be one of those series where it's gonna be like a night by night basis type thing. Because I think there is gonna be nights where Jimmy's gonna look like the best, but then there's gonna be nights where Tatum or Brown could look like the best because they're playing their best ball this season. If you really want to look at it.
I get exactly what you're saying. But I also think that's one of the reasons why you could almost cancel out any Celtic to be the best player in the series. For one, Brad Stevens runs a system that's very egalitarian, that's very, very selfless. Everybody has to touch it. Everybody has to pass it. All of the five guys have to be involved. So not one person ever really dominates anyway, or do they really get the opportunity to? And I already see cracks in, Jason Tatum being able to dominate every night. Don't get me wrong, he's an American star. And I think he could be a superstar scorer one day, but he's not fully there yet. He's still, tightening up those loose screws. To me, we need to start giving Jimmy Butler respect as a polished, ready-made, already there star. He's a borderline superstar to me. He doesn't drop 30 a game, but he'll always get you that 20 to 25 that you need. And if he's not scoring, if he gives you 18 to 19, he gives you elite defense, and he's a very underrated facilitator. He's really the main facilitator for Miami, and they kind of play a pass-friendly offense too. But I think it's time we fear Jimmy Butler more because he's a two-way player. He plays defense. He doesn't just rely on scoring, and he knows what to give Miami whenever they need it. He's proven in the past that he could get numbers. He did that in Minnesota and Chicago, but now he's learning how to be a winning player. And to me, it's hands down, Jimmy Butler's gonna, I don't want to say dominate this series like he's going to be KD on the Warriors, but I think he's going to have his imprint that he is the best player in this series.
Yo, if they go up against the Raptors, I think it's gonna be ugly. I think it's gonna be a 4 or 5.
You think the Raptors beat Miami in 4 or 5?
No. I think Miami beats them 4 or 5.
Really?
I think it's gonna be ugly.
I would honestly give the Raptors a little bit more respect than that. They're really good.
They are, but when I look at them play, a lot of nights. There was the nights that they got blown out. It was because nobody was really putting in work. Nobody wanted to step up to the plate and be the go-to guy because they can't rely on Kyle to do that.
Kyle's having his moments, but I agree. He's too small. You don't want to play it. That's like 5'11", 6 foot being your go-to guy, especially
in Siakam. I've been disappointed in Siakam these playoffs. I haven't been seeing a lot of big news from him. I thought I was going to see a lot more dynamic games from Siakam, but he hasn't stepped up to that play as the go-to guy. In Boston, when I look at Boston, they know who their people are, and I feel like that's why they can take them to like 6 or 7. But Raptors, I think if Raptors go up against the Heat, it's gonna look ugly.
No, that's a fair point right there. Now that you put it that way, that is a fair point. The Celtics know they got three legitimate 20-point games.
Yeah,
So I do give them a lot of respect for that. And Kemba Walker, I still take him over Kyle Lowry any day. He's a lot more of a threat all around, even though they both are small players. And he has two wing players to support him. Kyle Lowry doesn't have that wing player. OG Anunoby's, he's all right. He's coming up, but he's not
yeah.
that offensive player. Siakam, the truth is he played great in the finals against the Warriors, but the truth is he's a number 2 and number 3 guy on a winning squad. So I'm not too surprised, but I agree with you. He has not been stepping up in the playoffs the way he stepped up his game in the regular season.
Yeah, I'm very very disappointed. I thought he would be at least averaging like 24 to 23 type of points with like a lot of rebounds, but he hasn't. He's been very very quiet, and
Yeah.
I think it's because he doesn't want that go-to guy role.
Yeah, and he can't handle that responsibility because he's not really a shot creator. People gotta help him and create for him a little bit. He's
He
kind of
was
like,
the shit last year because Kawhi took all that pressure away.
yeah, absolutely,
But
1,000%, 1,000%.
yeah,
I want to switch gears for a minute because I don't want to let you off the hook. You believed in Milwaukee all year. Giannis is at home. The Bucks are at home. Brooke Lopez is at home. They could have their little wrestling skits at
can I
home
talk to
now.
you real quick?
Hold on 1 second. I want to get
Can I
into
talk to you
something.
real quick?
I want to get into one more thing on the topic of Jimmy Butler. Let's have a
Can I talk to
serious
you real
talk
quick?
here. Let's have a serious talk. Is Jimmy Butler a more valuable player than Giannis in the playoffs?
In the playoffs, yes, he is.
Okay,
Yes.
I just wanted to hear that. I think
Let me-
he's a better
Listen,
all-around player.
you don't
in the
remember
playoffs.
when I texted you and I said I'm going to have to put Giannis in that same Harden book right now.
You did say that. That was too late, though. You waited too long, in my opinion.
No,
That's
I
my
didn't wait
fault.
too long.
You
I gave him 1 season off the hook. The first season with Budenholzer, and now this season I can't let him get off the hook because let me tell you, if I'm Giannis or I'm one of the GM dudes, this is an easily fixable situation.
I agree.
I don't think that he should leave or explode the team or nothing like that. I think it's an easily fixable situation. First thing I do, I hit up Chris Paul. I say, Chris Paul, please come over here, make my life easier, bro. Because he has nobody on the team who's a floor general who can make his life easier. All these dudes is just wannabe scorers, especially Eric Bledsoe.
Oh, Lord.
He's a wannabe all-star.
Oh,
And he always looks to just take the shot, and he's not really a IQ type of player. Chris Paul will fix that for them in a big way. And Chris Paul ain't afraid of the fourth quarter moment, as we seen against the Rockets.
Nah, I agree with that 100%. This is why, shout out to me and shout out to Woody a little bit, because we were the only two guys that said this. Malcolm Brogdon was important. He was very, very important.
I never liked Bledsoe.
Was sweeping that under the rug. Malcolm Brogdon was supposed to be there. He was that third guy. On most nights, he was that second guy over Middleton when he was over there. And he's efficient. He will get you points. He will play defense. And he's 6'5". He's a 6'5" combo guard. And he just fits so much better with Giannis because he could spot up and shoot. But Bledsoe,
and he could pass.
Bledsoe's trade bait. Here's the trade right now. Bledsoe, Brooke Lopez, a pick, and Dante DiVincenzo for Chris Paul. They should just give them that trade right now. And
bro, I would offer the house. I would offer the house.
Yeah.
I would say, who do you want? Just give me Chris Paul.
You
Just
got
give me just.
they got
But I don't know
assets.
if I agree with Woody. I don't know if I give up DiVincenzo because
Nah, I'm
DiVincenzo has a
giving
bright
up
future.
DiVincenzo.
He has a bright future.
He could be bait. He could be bait. He's perfect for bait. Come on, man.
No, I would give up all the old players. I'd give up all the old players. Robin. I'd give up the who else is over there? George Hill.
Are
I
you
give up. I
telling
give
me?
up.
Are you telling me he does have a nice upside? I watch him play, but are you telling me if they lost him, that would burn their hopes? Nah, you use him
No,
as
no, no.
bait.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Listen, the main reason why they lost to me, it wasn't even because of the supporting cast. I like most of the supporting cast. I like most of the dudes there. But another thing that I do, if I'm Giannis, I hit up any Hall of Famer available, and I say, teach me post moves. This dude, if you look at Milwaukee play, 90% of the time it's the same play. Let me give it to Giannis. He's gonna bulldoze his way, and if there's too many guys, he'll kick it out. It's the same play over and over and over and over again. He needs some KG up and unders. He needs some Hakeem dream shakes. He needs some sky hooks, bro.
Mhm.
Give me something.
Yeah, he has absolutely, with all due respect to him, he has no repertoire. He has no bag of tricks to dip into. It's just he plays downhill, and then if that doesn't work, he gets walled up. You got to pass it to a 3-point shooter. So they desperately need a point guard or or a guy that could be that number 3 or number 2 on most nights because Giannis needs it. His skill set hasn't made it to where he'll give it to you.
Yeah, like if he goes down low without the ball, positions himself, and then does a post move, he'll be able to save 10 times more energy like that. Because it's easy to tire him out because he's just gonna run at you. That's why that shit. That's why that shit didn't work on guys like Jimmy Butler, guys like Andre Iguodala, guys like Jay Crowder. They've been in the league forever. They seen it all.
They're loaded with defenders, man.
They are.
Respect them so much. Loaded with defenders and shooters, and they got really good coaching. You got Crowder, Butler, like you said, Iguodala. Then you got Duncan Robinson,
and then Eric Spoelstra. Like Eric Spoelstra seen it all before. Like,
Adebayo. I like Adebayo a lot, man. I was kind of down on why he made the All-Star team, but I see why he made the All-Star team. I'm telling you, this team is dangerous. Even them, I think, when they get an extra piece next year, it's going to be scary on the East. But right now, they're already good. So it's crazy. I think Giannis, but I agree with you ultimately. I don't think it's time to be dramatic and say break up the Bucks, but they desperately need a Chris Paul level player or a guy to fill Brogdon's role, that guard that could get his, but also control the offense in a smart way.
And post moves. Don't forget
post moves. Oh, yeah. He has to work on his game. Regardless, he has to work on his game. That's a given.
Yeah, like we need more. And he's way too big and way too long not to have him. Because he doesn't, like, that would be an easy 35 for him if he had some sky hooks, some up and under moves, some dream shakes. Give me something like that.
Let me ask you. Let me tell you this for a second. Honorable mention of the type of player that would, if Chris Paul was to go there, that would be perfect if they could somehow pull it off. Bradley Beal, he's always in trade talks. If they could somehow snag that type of player, oh, it's over. That's the type of player Giannis needs.
Oh yeah.
Bradley Beal on the
Bucks. If they can get their hands on Bradley Beal, too,
that's crazy.
Give me.
They got the assets to get one of those type of players. It's their fault if they don't get one.
And that's all they really need.
Yeah.
I think they can be. They're going to be right there in the finals if they can get Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, one of them. Give me one of them, because they need someone who could step up in the fourth. Nobody wants to step up in the fourth for them.
Nobody can. They don't have the skill. Like nobody on that team's really a creator. They just get their offense when they're feeling it, but they don't get in isolations and break shit down.
They have to stand still.
Yeah, they a bunch of Clay Thompsons, and lesser versions at that. So I agree. I totally agree. It's their fault if they're not aggressive. In my opinion, that's all they're missing.
Wow.
I agree, 100%, 100%. Giannis better than man up and not leave though. Just stay right there, man up, don't leave, get some post moves, and start recruiting. That's the only two problems. That's
Yep.
it.